Hello everyone, my name is Effie Young and I'm here to talk to you today about saturated fat. I entitled it "To Be or Not to Be Used for Maintaining a Healthy Heart." There has been so much controversy over the fact that saturated fat is good for you, isn't good for you, and I'm here to straighten you out. Hopefully you'll take heed to the things that I'm telling you. Of course, it's your choice. You can do your own research, but there were outdated facts that people are going by as far as why they think saturated fat is unhealthy for you, including the government, because that's where everybody's getting the information from. The government facts are outdated. I don't have anything against the government, but the facts are outdated. I did my research and they were basing it on a report that someone did long ago. That's a whole nother story. I can get into the name and all that, but that's not for here right now. So I hope you enjoy the presentation today. What is saturated fat? We'll start there. Fat that consists of triglycerides containing only saturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids have no double bonds between the individual carbon atoms of the fatty acid chain, and the chain of carbon atoms is fully saturated with hydrogen atoms. How's that for a very technical explanation? Saturated fat is comprised of various types. The three most common types are stearic acid, palmitic acid, and lauric acid. Saturated fats are found in animal products, including your meat and whole milk dairy products, as well as certain plant oils like palm kernel, and coconut oils. Stearic acid, we'll start there, is found in animal fat and cocoa in higher levels. Research continues to show that stearic acid has no negative impacts on heart disease risk. If anything, it's either neutral or beneficial. How's that? Let's talk about lauric acid. Lauric acid is beneficial as well. Not only has it been shown to increase your HDL good cholesterol levels significantly, it also lacks in most Americans' diet and has been even shown to have some powerful immune boosting effects potentially. Tropical oils such as coconut and palm are the best sources of the healthy saturated fat lauric acid. The palmitic acid is the other main component of saturated fat and has also been shown to increase HDL good cholesterol to the same, if not at a greater extent than LDL bad cholesterol, thereby making it either neutral or beneficial, but certainly not bad for you. Okay, let's compare before and after. Before 1920s, the incidence of heart disease was very, very low. We ate more real butter, unprocessed meats, organic eggs, raw milk, and the food was not treated with pesticides. Let's see what happened after 1950. In the 1950s, we saw an increased rate of heart disease. Actually, right now, it's the #1 cause of death for both men and women in the United States, which claims approximately 1 million lives annually. We ate vegetable oils like margarine. We still do today. We started eating foods treated with pesticides and herbicides as we do today. And of course, there's never been more abundance of processed foods than it is today, which are definitely not good for us. Okay, here's some interesting facts. That period between 1910 and 1950, that 60-year period, this is a time when the proportion of traditional animal fat in the American diet was 83%, and butter consumption was 18 pounds per person per year. That's a lot of butter. Americans ate much more of the so-called foods that were harmful, and yet the rate of heart disease was very, very low. Now, when you compare the 60-year period between 1950 and 1970, the proportion of traditional animal fat in the American diet declined by 62% based on the advice everybody was giving us not to eat animal fat. Butter consumption plummeted to 4 pounds per year per person compared to that 18 pounds per person per year. And yet we had a higher rate of heart disease in America. And Americans ate much more of the processed food diet, like margarine, packaged foods, things that we didn't have back in the day between 1910 and 1950. So think about it. What is really causing the heart disease? We ate natural products, natural animal products, not processed foods. This is why I believe, along with the other researchers and other health practitioners, believe that we just need to cut out all the processed foods, eat real butter, and eat animals that have been farm raised the right way. And that's a whole nother story. But please, please take heed to what we're saying. Thank you. First of all, did you realize that although doctors, nutritionists, fitness professionals, and the media all have told you that it's a fact that saturated fats are bad for you, this fact has actually never been proven. So if all of these researchers have tried so hard over the years to point the finger at saturated fat, but have continued to fail to show a correlation between saturated fat and heart disease risk, what are the real culprits of the heart disease? Let's talk about the good. We're talking about the good, the bad, and the ugly today. The good fats are coconut oil. If you choose unrefined, raw, organic coconut oil, it's good for helping you to lose weight as well. Butter, if you have raw, organic butter, it's good for your heart and for helping you to lose weight also. Did you think that? Eggs. Organic eggs mean you can eat the whole egg. In fact, the yolk in organic eggs has omega-3s that are good for your overall health. Okay, let's talk about another good saturated fat. How about extra virgin olive oil? Olive oil is approximately 71% monounsaturated, 16% saturated, and 13% polyunsaturated. You choose extra virgin olive oil, which comes from the first pressing of the olives and has higher quantities of antioxidants. I bet you didn't think that dark chocolate would be one that's good for you. Dark, bittersweet chocolate, greater than 70% cocoa. The cocoa bean is a very concentrated source of antioxidants and responsible for part of the health benefit of dark chocolate. The fat portion of the cocoa bean, being cocoa butter, is a healthy, natural fat composed of approximately 59% saturated fat, mostly healthy stearic acid, 38% monounsaturated fat, and 3% polyunsaturated fat. I bet you're going to run right out and get you some dark chocolate. If you do, make sure it's organic, okay? Okay, how about avocados or guacamole? The fat in avocados, depending on where they're grown, is approximately 60% monounsaturated, 25% saturated, and 5% polyunsaturated. Avocados are a very healthful natural food that provides many nutrients, fiber, and healthful fats, while adding a rich flavor to any meal. What I actually do myself in the morning, I actually cut an avocado in half and I eat half or sometimes the whole thing. I never thought I would see myself eating an avocado for breakfast, but it's very good. And one thing that it does, it helps ward off the cancer-causing agents that may invade your body, and it also reduces body fat, belly fat especially. So what I know is that one of my members in one of the, not my members, excuse me, one of the members in one of the organizations that I belong to, she actually takes the avocado, of course, take out the big pit in the middle, and cracks open an egg and puts it in one of the openings and puts it in the oven until the egg is cooked. And then she swears that's one of the best meals for breakfast that she has. Sometimes I'll eat the avocado by itself for breakfast, but I shouldn't do that actually, because you should always have protein in the morning. Actually, you should have protein for each meal, because that helps balance out your diet and helps you lose that belly fat. Okay. High-fat fish such as wild salmon, sardines, mackerel, herring, trout, etc. Just about any fish or seafood are good sources of natural omega-3 polyunsaturated fats, but the higher fat fish listed above are the best sources of omega-3. You have to be careful though where you get your fish. Some fish markets unfortunately sell fish that's been raised in what they call farm raised, but it's been raised in a place where they are in their own feces, and they give them a lot of antibiotics to keep them from being diseased. So that fish that you're getting means that you're going to be getting those fish full of their own feces that they've been eating, and also the antibiotics that they've been given. So you need to get wild caught fish. That's the best fish. Or Whole Foods tells me that they, even though they have farm fish, farm raised fish, that it's a good farm. They don't let them eat their own feces. They keep it clean, and they definitely don't give them antibiotics. The only reason why they usually give the fish antibiotics is because they see that they're developing some disease, so they're trying to keep them healthy. But if they're in a healthy environment in the first place, they don't need antibiotics. So just keep that in mind. I'm gonna maybe put together another video or presentation on fish, because that's a whole nother story. But anyway, I love salmon, and occasionally I'll have sardines, but of course those I get in a can, and you have to be careful with canned fish. And then as far as the other fish around here, I'm in the desert, so I don't get a choice of the many fish that I used to eat when I used to live in Ohio. But any fish, like I said, that's been raised properly or wild caught is a lot better for you. Okay, another good source of saturated fat are nuts, any and all. Walnuts, almonds, peanuts, cashews, macadamias, etc. Nuts are great sources of healthy and processed fats, as well as minerals and other trace nutrients. Macadamias, almonds, and cashews are great sources of monounsaturated fats, while walnuts are a good source of unprocessed polyunsaturated fats, including omega-3s. Try to avoid nuts that are cooked in oil, and instead choose raw or dry roasted nuts. As a matter of fact, I added dry roasted nuts on here just to give people a choice, because a lot of people do not like the raw nuts. They want to have them cooked in some way. But in reality, the best nut for you is raw nuts. Raw nuts. So what I do is I actually enjoy, I don't like raw cashews as much, but I do enjoy raw walnuts. They seem to have a natural flavor that's really great. And I take those as a snack during the day, in between meals, and that way I get my omega-3s and also a good source of protein. So keep that in mind. Try to get the raw nuts whenever possible. Okay? Seeds: sunflower seeds, pumpkin seeds, sesame seeds, flax seeds. All of these seeds are great sources of natural and processed healthy fats. In particular, flax seeds have received a lot of attention lately due to their high omega-3 content. However, keep in mind that omega-3 polyunsaturated fats are highly reactive to heat and light, and prone to oxidation and free radical production. Therefore, freshly ground flaxseed is the only way to go. And never, ever, ever cook with flax oil. Never. Another source of good saturated fat is the fat in organically raised free-range animals. This is where most people have been misinformed by the mass media. And I would like to say that a lot of people don't know what free range means. And, I have a funny story, at least it was funny to me and my daughter, where she was looking at a recipe where it told her to get some free range chicken. And what she thought that meant, because she was trying to change her diet, she thought it meant that she was able to eat a free range of chicken. In other words, as much chicken as she wanted. But of course, that's not what it means. What it means is that the chickens are raised on a farm where they're free to roam around. Unfortunately, there are too many farmers today because they commercialize our food. They literally have the chickens in a dark barn or some other kind of enclosed area where they're jam-packed together. They can barely even walk because there's no space between them. And they're fed all of this bad, unnatural feed, which makes them fat. And they actually break their legs. It's pretty sad. I've seen a documentary on those facilities where they keep the animals caged up like that. But anyway, that's what free range means, that the animals can roam around freely and have good sunlight, and they stay healthier that way, and then they're usually fed better. But not all free range animal farms will still will give them the best foods. Animal fat is inherently good for us, that is, if it came from a healthy animal. And human beings have thrived on animal fats for thousands of years. And the problem is most mass-produced animal products today do not come from healthy animals. They come from animals given loads of antibiotics and fattened up with hormones and fed unnatural feed. So the solution is to choose organically raised, free-range meats, eggs, and dairy. And at this time, the price is still a little higher, but as demand grows, the prices will come down. And I've noticed that since I've been buying organic foods. I can get a lot of good bargains. And I shop at Whole Foods quite a bit because they usually have the organic meat. And they have some grass-fed meat as well. I found an incredible website that actually offers free-range grass-fed meats delivered right to your doorstep. At very reasonable prices. And when I say reasonable, I'm talking about compared to, like, if you go into other stores or even other websites, their prices are reasonable compared to those. Now, I don't eat red meat, so I usually try to just get the grass-fed ground turkey or chicken, or chicken parts, or I'll usually find those things in Whole Foods. So I just thought I'd give you that address. You'll find that website address at the end of this presentation. Of course, if you're listening to this on a website and not on YouTube, you can just usually click the link here where you see it in orange, and it'll take you right to the site. Believe me, it's very hard to find grass-fed meats at any grocery store, so I was pleased to find that site. Okay, we talked about the good. Let's talk about the bad. Once we started eating these refined oils, the incidence of heart disease drastically increased. The fact that people are eating processed fake foods is causing the increase in heart disease and higher cholesterol and other disease as well, not the saturated fat. The ugly truth is that information is based on old, outdated studies that were incomplete. People are less healthy due to heart ailments, cancer, and downright obesity. Americans walk around like time bombs, ticking, ready to explode. It's so sad we're not improving much on our health. Wake up, America! Consider before you buy that margarine or unprocessed food, or processed food. Why is anything promoted? Businesses need to make money, right? So one way to increase sales for some businesses like the vegetable oil market is to badmouth the saturated fats or products that they won't make money from. Think about it. In other words, the competition, like I said, just think about what that means. All right, let's go forward with a healthier you. Please take heed to the information in this video. Avoid the articles from our government sources because they have not been updated and are based on research that was grossly incomplete. They did update the food groups chart eventually, I forgot how long ago, but it's still missing things. It's still not correct. So keep an open mind and may you have a healthful, wholesome life. Signing off, F.B. Young here. By the way, if you want more information on the helpful tips that we talked about, such as these, just put your name and email address in the capture form, and I will never ever sell or give away your information, and I will only send you things that pertain to your health. And you can also visit my website, which is effies.enterprises.com, and then I promise to give you that link for a healthy grass-fed beef or meat. So here it is. Take care and have a great day.